Aniket, please mute yourself. Aniket, please mute yourself. May I know who is Vivo 1904? Please write your roll number. Rename yourself. Vivo 1904. May I know who is this? Am I audible? Am I audible to you? Yes, please see who is Vivo. Just just tell this person to write roll number. You can open the participant list and can rename yourself. Even there are so many students who have not wrote their roll number and complete name. Same instruction goes to Aniket. Okay, so without wasting time, we will start our lecture. Yes, so first we will have short review on what we finished yesterday. As I told yesterday, this is 2 mark question which is generally asked in your exam. So what is nutrients and what different points you are supposed to cover in your answer? Though it is 2 mark question, anytime you should have to write minimum 4 points, but remember these 4 points must always be important 4 points. It should not be any 4 points that you can memorize easily. Okay, so if you get question for 2 marks nutrients, what 4 points you are supposed to cover? The first point is its another name. Nutrients, they are also known as food factors. Okay, then yesterday we have seen these are organic or inorganic complexes which are present. Yes, Rahul, do you want to say something? Okay, yes, you raised your hand, that's why I'm asking. Okay, it's okay. Okay, food factors. Nutrients are also called as food factors. These are organic or inorganic complexes which are present in the food. Third point in your answer should be classification or types of nutrients. The classification, it includes nutrients. They are divided into two: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, they are also called as proximate principles, which forms main bulk of our food. Examples under macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Micronutrients, as name suggests, these are the nutrients which are required in very small amount. That's why we call these as micronutrients. Example under micronutrients, it includes vitamins and minerals. And finally, it should be sources and functions from where we get nutrients. We get different nutrients from food. And there are lot many functions, but just you can summarize as nutrients are required for growth and proper maintenance of health or appropriate maintenance of health. So there are just few keywords that you are supposed to know in relation to nutrients. I repeat, it's food factors, organic inorganic complexes, macronutrients, micronutrients, and in short, you should have to mention about sources and functions. Now, yesterday we have stopped here, classification of foods. Now, this is SAQ, which is generally asked for. It's my kind request to CR, please see who is this Vivo 1904 and please tell this person to rename. Yes, classification is related with your SAQ for 5 marks. Here again 4 important words you should know. There are 4 different criterias that we are using for classification of food. According to its origin, according to predominant function, according to chemical composition, and according to nutritive value. Just 4 important words you are supposed to know. One is origin, second is function, third is composition, and fourth important classification is based on nutritive value of the food. As far as origin is concerned, this is simplest classification. Whatever foods we get from animal origin and whatever foods we get from vegetable or plant origin. So simply you can call it as animal foods, or we can call it as vegetable foods or plant foods. This is very easy. All students generally mention this point. Next classification, it is related with the predominant function which is played by different kinds of food. So based on function, there are some foods which helps in formation of new tissues and which helps in growth. Okay, these foods we call it as body building foods. Just in one nutrients, you can say these are proteins. And if you want to give examples under this, you can give examples of both animal foods as well as plant foods. The animal foods which help in bodybuilding, it includes milk, meat, fish, eggs, and from plant foods, these are mainly pulses and these are mainly nuts like groundnuts. There are so many examples. Just for this purpose, you are supposed to know what are various sources related with the proteins. Okay. Second, types of food, where there are certain kinds of food which when we consume, they give energy. These are called as energy giving foods, or these are called as energy yielding foods. Here you are supposed to write examples related mainly with the cereals. So cereals and millets, what we take in our diet, like rice, jowar, bajra, etc., they are mainly providing energy. In addition to this, yesterday we have seen fats, which are the concentrated sources of energy. So fats and oils, you can write example here. And another important thing which gives energy is sugars. So whatever sugar is there, it is again energy yielding food. Third type of food is protective foods. Protective foods, they are important for maintenance of health, and here you can write examples of all those foods which are sources for vitamins and minerals. So these are again mainly different types of vegetables and different types of fruits which are included as protective foods. So again, just three important criterias you should have to see for classification of food according to predominant function. I repeat, it is related with bodybuilding, it is related with energy, and it is related with the protection. Third criteria, which is related with chemical composition. So based on chemical composition, we can classify foods into proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. Details we are going to discuss about this, but right now just you should know proteins, they are made up of amino acids and these are nitrogen containing compounds, whereas fats, they are mainly composed of fatty acids, and carbohydrates in their chemical composition or in their structure, they mainly consist of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Okay, so just 5 names of nutrients you are supposed to mention as far as classification according to chemical composition is concerned. Now this is the topic where we stopped yesterday. Classification according to nutritive value. According to nutritive value, in decreasing order of nutritive value, there are 10 different foods which are categorized. It includes, at topmost level, it includes cereals and millets, followed by pulses and legumes. Next in rank is vegetables, nuts and oilseeds, fruits. Then at number 6, it is animal foods, fats and oils, sugar and jaggery. Finally, it is condiments, spices, and miscellaneous foods. So let's see what it includes. Cereals. Whenever we talk about cereals, henceforth, you should be able to recall these food articles. Cereals, it includes rice, wheat, maize, barley, and oats. I think all of you might be knowing all these food articles which are included in cereals. Shall I repeat? It is rice, wheat, maize, oats, and barley. Whenever we talk about millets, henceforth, it mainly includes jowar, bajra, and ragi. Pulses and legumes. Pulses and legumes, it mainly includes Bengal gram, green gram, red gram, black gram. बेंगाल ग्रॅम मराठीत सांगायचं तर हरभरा डाळ. ग्रीन ग्रॅम अख्खे मूग तुम्ही पाहिले तर ग्रीन कलर असतो. द पल्स विच इज प्रिपेअर्ड फ्रॉम दिस इज ग्रीन ग्रॅम, मुगाची डाळ. रेड ग्रॅम म्हणजे तुरीची डाळ. इफ यू विल सी होल तूर, इट इज रेड इन कलर and the gram prepared is called as red gram. Black gram is urad dal. Urad is black in color, so just from color the names are there. It is green gram, red gram, black gram, Bengal gram. It further includes soybean, lentils, peas and whole chana. Lentils is masoor dal. Orange color में जो आती है that is called as lentils. Next in category is vegetables. Vegetables, we can divide it into leafy vegetables. Leafy vegetables, there are so many examples, but here few examples I wrote, that is spinach, fenugreek, amaranth and cabbage. Fenugreek is methi. Vegetables we can study as various roots and tubers. Roots, it includes potato, sweet potato. In this category, you can give examples of radish, carrot, beet, onion. What are the things that are grown under the ground? All these forms the categories of roots and tubers. In vegetables, further you can include other vegetables like ladyfinger, ridge gourd, bitter gourd, etc. Next in category is nuts and oilseeds. Nuts, it includes coconut, cashew nut, walnut, groundnuts. Groundnuts म्हणजे शेंगदाणे. Almond, it is badam. Cashew nut is kaju. Oilseeds, oilseeds, it includes all those seeds from which we can extract oil. So groundnuts from which we can extract oil. These are sesame seeds, तील, sesames म्हणजे तील, mustard is mohri. Even from sunflower seeds we can extract oils. Again, there are so many examples under oil seeds. Next in category of according to nutritive value is fruits. So here are different examples of fruits which can provide us various nutrients. Animal foods. Animal foods, it mainly includes milk and milk products, egg, fish, meat, poultry, beef and pork. I think all of you know all these animal foods. Anyone having any query, unable to understand any word from this? Fats and oils. Fats and oils, it includes ghee, vanaspati ghee. Vanaspati ghee is dalda. Then different types of oils. Again, list is big here. It can be groundnut oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, or it can be safflower oil, olive oil, or even it can be rice bran oil. Next in category is sugar and jaggery. Now it is very important to understand that jaggery, it's okay, it contains some nutrients, but as far as sugar is concerned, it is very important to know that this sugar has no nutritive value. It has no nutritive value. And it is very essential to understand sugar. I think all of you know, which we generally use for making tea and coffee. Our day starts with the sugar, which is non-nutritive food. Even if you see our food culture in India, whenever there is any event like marriages, birthdays, or whatever it may be, we welcome all the guests by using all those food items which are made from sugar, like sweets and everything. But here I want to focus your attention on the point that the sugar which is generally used, which is routinely consumed, and which is part of our food culture, it has no nutritive value. नेक्स्ट इज कॉन्डिमेंट्स अँड स्पायसेस. कॉन्डिमेंट्स अँड स्पायसेसमध्ये सगळे वेगवेगळे मसाल्याचे पदार्थ जे वापरतो आपण, इट इन्क्लूड्स ऑल दीज थिंग्स लाईक असाफोटिडा, टर्मरिक, क्लोव्ह, cinnamon, cardamom, black pepper, bay leaf, and still other examples are there. In miscellaneous foods, we can include different beverages like tea, coffee, fruit juices, etc. So this is the classification. 4 important words you are supposed to know for your 4 points. Based on origin, we classified the foods. Based on predominant function, we classified. Based on chemical composition, and based on nutritive value. Based on origin, just 2 words: animal origin, vegetable origin, predominant function, bodybuilding, energy yielding foods, protective foods. According to chemical composition, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals. According to nutritive value, first in rank is cereals and millets, followed by pulses and legumes, followed by vegetables, nuts and oilseeds, followed by fruits, animal foods, fats and oils, sugar and jaggery, condiments and spices, and miscellaneous foods. So these all things we are going to study in detail. We are going to study macronutrients also and micronutrients also. But first we will try to study micronutrients because these are frequently asked in your exam, and we will start it with vitamins. Micronutrients, it includes vitamins and minerals. All vitamins and few important minerals are included in your syllabus, and that we are going to study. So before starting with this point, first thing, let us try to understand what are vitamins. So there are few points which you can see in front of you. First thing you should know, vitamins, these are essential nutrients and these are organic in nature. If you can recall now at this point the definition of nutrients, what we said, nutrients are organic or inorganic complexes which are present in nature. So vitamins, example of vitamins, it belongs to the organic character. So these are organic in nature. Nutrients may be organic, may be inorganic. Organic ka example what you can give is vitamins. So essential nutrients which are present in our food, it includes vitamins. In our food, whatever organic things are there, we can call it as vitamins. As you know, vitamins comes under example of micronutrients. And micronutrients, what we said, micronutrients, they are required in small amount. So same point we are repeating here, vitamins are required in small amounts. Another important thing which is related with the synthesis of vitamins, whether vitamins are synthesized in our body or not, and if they are not synthesized in our body, how we can get these vitamins. Okay, so as far as synthesis is concerned, generally vitamins are not synthesized in body, but there are few exceptions that you are supposed to know. So it's vitamin K, which can be synthesized in our body with the help of bacterial flora. It's vitamin D, which can be synthesized with the help of sunlight, and even niacin, where one amino acid is there, tryptophan, which may get converted into niacin. Okay, so there are certain exceptions you should have to remember regarding those vitamins which can be synthesized in our body. What about remaining vitamins which are not synthesized in our body? So we can get it from outside, and the most important source for this is food. So food can provide us different vitamins. So in this we focused related the points related with whether these are essential nutrients or not, regarding their sources. As we said, they are supplied from outside, regarding its synthesis and regarding its requirement. So you can think from that point of view also, and you can mention various points related with the vitamins. This is very easy point. And again, as I said, nutrients, they are asked for 2 marks. You may get question for 2 marks as classification of vitamins. Classification of vitamins. Okay. All of you know the basic criteria. What we use to classify vitamins is solubility. Whether they are soluble in water or whether they are soluble in fat. So accordingly we are classifying it into fat soluble vitamins and water soluble vitamins. Fat soluble vitamins, it mainly includes vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E and vitamin K. Whereas water soluble vitamins, it includes B group vitamins and C. So now again, it's my request, whenever you will go through all vitamins, you will come to know names of these vitamins. So if you get this question for 2 marks, just add these names in your examples. Okay, so vitamin A, retinol, vitamin D, calciferol, cholecalciferol, like this. Okay, so just don't mention these two words, fat soluble, water soluble. Along with this, please don't forget to mention examples along with their names. So classification, I think all of you know, no need to waste a lot of time in this. Now we will start with the vitamin properly. It's vitamin A. As far as vitamin A is concerned, this is again most frequently repeated question in MUHS exam. So I think you should know each and every point related with this vitamin. Vitamin A, it exists in two forms. Either it is preformed vitamin or it can be provitamin. Preformed vitamin is retinol, and we can get this preformed vitamin from animal foods. Whereas provitamin, it is beta carotene. Now what is meaning of provitamin? Provitamin, it includes any substance which gets converted into vitamin in our body. So this beta carotene will get converted into retinol palmitate that we'll see later on in our body in intestine. To be specifically, this conversion occurs in intestine. So simple thing, provitamins in our body, they will get converted to vitamin. And provitamins, we mainly get it from plant foods. So pay attention here. Preformed vitamin, it is obtained from animal foods, whereas provitamin beta carotene, it is obtained from plant foods. Three important things regarding vitamin A which are related with anti. So there are three antis you are supposed to know regarding vitamin A. Vitamin A, it is best example of antioxidant. It has anti-infective function and it is anti-carcinogenic. Next is, what are various functions of vitamin A? What different functions are played by this vitamin in our body? Most important function, it is related with the vision. Now again pay attention. Vitamin A, it is required for vision in dim light. I repeat, it is required for vision in dim light. So how this vitamin helps in vision in dim light? Basically, there are retinal pigments, and these pigments are essential for vision in dim light. And vitamin A, it is required or it helps in production of retinal pigments. Retinol pigments, they are produced with the help of vitamin A, which helps in what is this? Which helps in vision in dim light. So once again, don't forget the word here, dim light. Whenever you are writing functions, it is essential to mention this dim light word. Okay. Another important function, vitamin A, it is required for normal functioning as well as structural integrity of epithelial tissues. Now from physiology, you know there are various systems where epithelial lining is present. Epithelial lining, it is present in urinary tract system, it is present in respiratory tract, even our skin has epithelium. Now for structural integrity as well as for appropriate functioning of these epithelial lining, vitamin A is required. Next role of vitamin A, it is required for growth. For growth, Moshir Sayed and this Vivo 1904, it's my kind request to any one of you, please inform these people not to enter right now. Can anyone do it for me? Yes, yes. It's creating interruption. Okay, so we are discussing functions of vitamin A. It is required for vision in dim light. It is required for structural integrity and functioning of epithelial lining of different systems in our body. It is required for growth. And as in last slide we said, it is anti-infective. It provides protection against infection. And the answer you will get in the functions only. As we said, normal functioning and structural integrity, it is related with vitamin A. So, whenever there is deficiency, it may result in recurrent infection. And if deficiency is not seen, it will provide protection against respiratory infections. It will provide protections against urinary tract infection. So, protection against infection is one of the important function related with vitamin A. Another function, it protects against epithelial cancer. So that's why we said it is anti-carcinogenic vitamin. And regarding antioxidant, the most important function of vitamin A, it destroys free radicals. Okay, so there are so many functions, but the most important function is vision in dim light. And in addition, you should not forget normal functioning of epithelial tissues. Remaining three functions you can elaborate, or just you can write it in three words like anti-infective, anti-carcinogenic, or antioxidant function. What are various sources of vitamin A? It is very essential to mention sources if you get 5 marks question. And when you are presenting your answer, don't forget to mention sources under 3 headings, because generally all sources are mixed together and you mention like that. Make your answer presentable. So write the sources under 3 heads: animal foods, plant foods, and fortified foods. In the beginning already I said retinol, it is preformed vitamin which we get it from animal foods, whereas carotene or beta carotene, it is provitamin which we get it from plant foods. And third heading is fortified foods. Fortification of foods is the process in which nutrients are added to the food articles. So here we will take any example. Generally it is vanaspati ghee, it is taken and vitamin A is added to it. So 3 headings: animal, plants, and fortified foods. When you mention these sources, please mention it according to ranking, according to content which are present of vitamin A in these food articles. So whenever you mention animal foods, on the top it should be fish liver oils. And again in fish liver oils, halibut should be your first answer, then cod liver oil and shark liver oil. I said halibut liver oil followed by cod liver oil followed by shark liver oil. But remember, generally these fish liver oils, they are used as nutritional supplement. But since it is a rich source, it is important to mention it in your answer. Then you can write about eggs, fish, meat, and milk products. See here we have mentioned only milk products, butter and cheese. Milk is not mentioned here because milk is very poor source of vitamin A. Or rather, if some people, if they are using skimmed milk do not contain vitamin A. So please don't mention milk as the first choice in animal foods. Is it clear? So your answer to write sources for vitamin A, it should begin with fish liver oils, and you should not mention milk at least on the top of your list. Generally, whenever students write sources, the answer starts with milk. But just there are 2-3 examples where you are supposed to exclude or you are supposed to mention it at the end. One is vitamin A and other one is for iron, for sources of iron again. Okay. So we said fish liver oils, halibut liver oil, cod liver oil, shark liver oil, eggs, fish, meat, butter and cheese. Regarding plant foods, again on the top, it should be green leafy vegetables. Again on the top, it should be green leafy vegetables, and simple thing should be taken into consideration related with the green color and the carotene content. So proportion is darker the green color, higher is the carotene content. जितना कलर डार्क है उतना ही उसमें कैरोटीन्स ज़्यादा रहेंगे. Okay, so from plant foods, and you can give various examples here: spinach, amaranth, drumstick leaves. Basically, drumstick leaves, it is very good source of vitamin A, but generally it is not used in cooking foods. Drumstick, शेवग्याचा पाला. Okay, coriander. Then another important examples, it includes ripe tomato, and again based on color, it's pumpkin, mango, papaya and carrot. Carrot is not mentioned here, but carrot is another important source for carotene. Okay, so pumpkin, here you can just note the color of these fruits. So these are somewhat yellow colored fruits, what you can say, or somewhat orange colored fruits and vegetables which are important in. हॅलो, कोणी सांगितलं नाहीये का सय्यद मुशीरला आणि विवो वाल्याला स्टुडंटला कोण येते? हॅलो, हॅलो, एनी वन ऑफ यू प्लीज अनम्यूट, एनी वन ऑफ. हां, हो पण सांगा ना कोणीतरी, ज्युनियर बॅच मधल्यांना सांगायला सांगा, सारखा डिस्टर्बन्स क्रिएट होतो बिकॉज आय हॅव टू अपलोड इट ऑन युट्यूब. हां, आणि हु इज विवो? सो विवो, जस्ट फाइंड इट लेटर ऑन. Okay, so pumpkin, mango, papaya, carrot, these are another important sources for from plant food as far as carotene is concerned. And fortified food. In fortified foods, it is vanaspati ghee. Vanaspati ghee, once again I repeat, it is dalda which is consumed by many of the poor Indian peoples. That's why basically it is fortified with vitamin A. Is it clear with the sources of vitamin A? Yes? We will see xerophthalmia, details of it in deficiency. And then you will come to know why it is called as anti-xerophthalmic factor. Okay? Yeah. Now regarding absorption and storage of this vitamin, this is additional point. No need to write it in your exam, but you are supposed to know. Basically, the site of absorption for this is intestine. It is mainly absorbed in the intestine. Vitamin A, retinol, it is absorbed as it is, but if it is carotene, carotene will get converted into vitamin A. Now here, for this conversion, you are supposed to know what factors are there which can interfere with this conversion. So basically for this conversion, thyroid hormones they facilitates conversion. But at the same time, if it is poor child, if this child is malnourished, and if this child is suffering from diarrhea, okay, it will decrease the conversion. So there are still other factors that you should have to keep in your mind. Any child which is malnourished, which is suffering from diarrhea, which is purely vegetarian, so such child is likely to suffer from deficiency of vitamin A, because these are the factors which are interfering with the conversion. Regarding storage, as you know, all fat soluble vitamins, our body has some amount of storage of fat soluble vitamins. These are stored in our body. Similarly, vitamin A, it is stored in our body, and important site for storage is liver. So it is stored in the liver. To be specifically, these are the Kupffer cells where vitamin A is stored. And what is storage form? So you don't have this MCQs, but if MCQ pattern starts, you should know this storage forms. This is retinol palmitate. Retinol palmitate, it is the storage form. So just few things you are supposed to know. Carotenes will get converted in the intestine. There are certain factors which can interfere with the conversion. The storage site is liver, and the storage form is retinol palmitate. Now, how long we can get, or our body can use these stores? So as per KPAC, the duration which is given is these stores are generally sufficient for 6 to 9 months. But if you will see your medicine book, the time given is 1 year. So on an average, we can say it's 1 year period during which body can use the stored vitamin A in case dietary intake is insufficient. Yeah, now we proceed to the deficiency, which is the most important point, must be mentioned in your answer. The deficiencies here, whatever manifestations that are produced due to deficiency of vitamin A, we are going to categorize as ocular manifestations. What specific manifestations we can get in relation to eyes, and what are extraocular manifestations? Again, two important words that must be there in your answer. We said ocular manifestations and extraocular manifestations. Ocular manifestations. Now, whatever ocular manifestations are there, just in one word, we can describe it as xerophthalmia. So, right now, what Rahul said is xerophthalmia. So, whatever manifestations are there, in majority of signs, you will find there is dryness which is produced in the eyes. Okay, so one by one we will go it, because you are supposed to mention all these points in your answer. First is night blindness. Now, what is night blindness and why it occurs? That you are supposed to know. So, for this, you are supposed to know the most important function related with the vision. Regarding vision, what we said, vitamin A, it is required for vision in dim light. So, what can be night blindness? Night blindness, it is inability to see in dim light. Don't forget here, dim light is very, very important. So, the child, generally these deficiencies are seen in children. The child won't be able to see in late evening. Are you getting it? Because that time light is dim. And why this occurs? This visual impairment, it occurs due to impairment of dark adaptation. Okay, what is night blindness? That you are supposed to mention at least in one sentence in your answer, and it should be inability to see in dim light. Next ocular manifestation is conjunctival xerosis. Conjunctival xerosis, again, this is very important to know, because this is the first clinical sign of vitamin A deficiency? So if examiner asks you example of first clinical sign related to ocular manifestations of deficiency of vitamin A, your answer should be conjunctival xerosis. The same thing in medicine book, it is described as xerosis conjunctivae. So you can write either conjunctival xerosis or you can mention same thing as xerosis conjunctivae. What happens in this condition? So basically, if you see normal conjunctiva, it is smooth and it has shiny appearance. So this smooth and shiny appearance or lustrous appearance, it is lost. And what happens? Conjunctiva, it becomes dry, and as it becomes dry, it appears wrinkled. तो ड्राइनेस की वजह से आपको जो साइन दिखाई देगा कंजंक्टिवल xerosis, what you can see is wrinkles. Okay, dryness and wrinkling is the important manifestation that you are supposed to see in your patient. Conjunctival xerosis, remember, first clinical sign of deficiency of vitamin A. Corneal xerosis, same is applicable for cornea. Like conjunctiva, cornea, it also becomes dry. Now sometimes what happens? There can be formation of corneal ulcers. These corneal ulcers, in few cases, it may heal, and healing of corneal ulcers, it make the cornea opaque, and opacity of cornea, you call it as glaucoma, if I am not wrong. Even it can cause difficulty in vision. One possibility related with corneal xerosis, there is dryness, these cornea are non-wettable, or there is formation of corneal ulcers which can heal and cornea may become opaque, and this opacity will create problem in vision. But if it is not treated, if at this level vitamin A is not given to the patient, what can happen next? So these are all dangerous things. Basically, it's keratomalacia. Now, keratomalacia, here you can find the colligative necrosis or liquefactive necrosis. Now, necrosis will occur at this stage, and the corneal ulcers or even cornea, it becomes very soft. It becomes so soft that it can even burst out, and there can be prolapse of iris or there can be prolapse of lens, and it can lead to blindness. So that's why we generally say this night blindness, if it is not prevented, if appropriate intervention is not taken at an early stage, it may lead to blindness. And again, it can be permanent blindness. Keratomalacia, is it clear? Very, very, very dangerous manifestation related with the deficiency of vitamin A, softening of cornea, which may burst out, resulting in irreversible conditions. Next important manifestation is Bitot spot. Now regarding Bitot spots, these spots where you can see it on bulbar conjunctiva, on either side of cornea. It can be on medial side, it can be on lateral side, you can see on either side of cornea. But where you should have to observe it on bulbar conjunctiva. They may have different shapes. Sometimes these spots can be round, they can be oval, or they can be triangular. As far as color is concerned, they are either pearly white in color or they are yellowish in color. Generally, you should have to make habit to observe Bitot spots in both eyes, because it is frequently bilateral condition, and the appearance is foamy. Another characteristic feature is Bitot spots may have foamy appearance. So here you should know the site where you are supposed to observe, what you are supposed to observe, and how it can appear. I repeat, 5 important subheadings in your ocular manifestation: night blindness, conjunctival xerosis, corneal xerosis, keratomalacia, and Bitort's spot. Here you can see conjunctival xerosis. Can you make out? You just focus on the rectangle. Okay, the conjunctiva, it appears dry, it appears wrinkled, and there is loss of luster, there is loss of shiny appearance. Corneal xerosis, same is for cornea, there is no lustrous appearance of cornea. There is loss of lustrous appearance and the cornea appears dry. Keratomalacia, as we said, there can be liquefactive necrosis. The cornea becomes very soft. Bitort's spot, visible on bulbar conjunctiva. You can notice the foamy appearance. Please pay attention to foamy appearance of Bitort's spot. This is the case where there is profound xerophthalmia, everything dry you can see. Okay. And now answer to Rahul's question, it is called as anti-xerophthalmic factor because if vitamin A is taken in appropriate amount, all these functions are carried out properly. If there is deficiency, definitely it results in xerophthalmia. And if it is not treated, there can be profound xerophthalmia. तो xerophthalmia से जो protect करने वाला vitamin है, that is vitamin A. That's why it is called as anti-xerophthalmic factor also. One more anti you can add to the list of antis. Regarding extraocular manifestations, in extraocular manifestations, there can be skin changes where there can be either you can mention it as follicular hyperkeratosis or you can say it as hyperkeratinization. But if you want to see this important manifestation in your patient specifically, you should have to see the front portion of the thighs and back portion of forearms. So that is the important sites where you can see these extraocular manifestations. Another important thing, the person may suffer from respiratory tract infections or urinary tract infection. The reason is, as you know, for structural integrity and normal functioning of epithelial tissues lining these systems, vitamin A is essential. Deficiency can lead to anorexia, there can be growth retardation, or there can be increased prevalence of epithelial cancers. As initially we said, this is anti-carcinogenic. So, prevalence we can see more in those people who are having deficient intake of vitamin A. And as far as children is concerned, deficiency of vitamin A definitely contributes to morbidity and mortality. So these are few extraocular manifestations. Regarding deficiency, ocular manifestations and extraocular manifestations are essential. 2 headings should be there in your answer. Now, how we are going to treat it? Basically, we said it may lead to dangerous complications like blindness, and remember, this is preventable blindness. Whatever cases of blindness occurs due to deficiency of vitamin A, it is 100% preventable. We can prevent it. Simple thing, prevention we'll see later on, but right now we will just see how we are going to treat it. For treatment, it is very simple solution. We have to use vitamin A in the form of retinol palmitate. Dose that we are going to give is 2 lakh international units orally just 2 doses on consecutive day. It is the criteria of treatment. Of course, the treatment will vary depending upon the ocular manifestations. The patients with keratomalacia or corneal ulcers may require some specific ophthalmic treatment in addition to this. Regarding prevention and control, there are few important things that are related with prevention and control. It's very essential to take regular and adequate intake of vitamin A rich foods. Then next point is to reduce frequency of the contributory factors. तो यहाँ पे contributory factors कौन से हैं? तो children में this deficiency mainly we find it in children. So here we are supposed to reduce occurrence of protein energy malnutrition, measles. Remember, this is most important thing: measles, diarrhea and respiratory tract infection. तो ये सब कम करना है. Reducing frequency of contributory factors, which mainly includes diarrhea, measles, protein energy malnutrition and respiratory tract infections. It is very essential to give nutrition education to the people. People must know the vitamin A rich food, and vitamin A rich food should be regularly as well as adequately included in diet. And another prophylactic measure, again this is important point to mention in your answer, is administration of vitamin A to preschool children. Now for this, we are supposed to follow the guidelines that are given by NIN. So here you can see NIN, it is abbreviation of National Institute of Nutrition. I repeat, National Institute of Nutrition. NIN, this institute, it is located at Hyderabad. Now you are supposed to know this abbreviation and its full form. It is essential because it is frequently asked in practical exam. Okay, so NIN stands for National Institute of Nutrition, which is located at Hyderabad. The guideline which is given by this institute is administration of vitamin A from 6 months to 6 years. So whatever children are there between 6 months to 6 years, prophylactically vitamin A should be given. The dose, it varies for infants. तो 6 months to 1 year के लिए we are supposed to give 1 lakh international unit, whereas from 1 year to 6 years we are supposed to give 2 lakh international units. तो इन्फेंट के लिए सिर्फ डोज को हमें कम करना है. 1 साल के पहले 6 महीने के बाद के बच्चे आते हैं तो उन्हें सिर्फ 1 लाख इंटरनेशनल यूनिट देना है. ओके, वेर एज फॉर 1 year to 6 years it is 2 lakh international unit. तो डोज वेरी होने वाला है. रूट इज सेम. वी आर सपोज टू गिव इट बाय oral route. Now I think I will stop here. It's my kind request to CR to please take the numbers of students for attendance or names.